Following the rebels' breakthrough at the primary train station, the Krieg forces had mustered every last drop of their manpower in the battle sector, and were rapidly advancing towards the central train station, which connected the primary front lines all the way up to their initial staging ground, on which they were launching relentless attacks against the rebels' second-line position. After many hours of desperate fighting, the rebels and Havoc forces were finally able to close the gap, advancing from all angles against the train station. These Krieg soldiers had dug in and prepared to fight to the last man in order to prevent this vital position from falling into enemy hands. High Command was mere hours away from launching the Great Gagorie Offensive, and the defenders here needed to buy them all the time they possibly could in order for this offensive to go off without a hitch. Not one step back was the order of the day, for the Founder, for Gaia, for glory, and for honor. As the Krieg forces readied their battle lines, out from the burning industrial strait around them marched the relentless hordes of the rebels and their Havoc Force allies. The Krieg commander here had received these orders and understood them to absolute, not one step back in the face of the unrelenting onslaught that was due to come his way. All across the front line, the Krieg forces attached their bayonets and made ready to defend this vital train station, giving their lives if they must to prevent a breakthrough here.
Hold your ground, men! Hold your ground!
The battle opened with the rebel forces advancing forward towards the outskirts of the rail track, taking up position by the blockhouse. The Krieg forces in the Havelock administration zone opened fire at the oncoming Extinction Angels, managing to down one of the hated monsters. A squad of rebel elites advances forward, taking cover behind the barricades, as the Krieg forces form up a formidable gun line and level their les rifles straight at the oncoming rebels across the train track, gunning down 3 of their number immediately.
Taking fire!
With a terrible war cry, the demonic entity leads forward his close combat troops as they cross another vital sector of the rail track. Seeing this, the Krieg squad with the company colors advances forward and prepares to hold the line against the oncoming foe. The cultist allies of the rebels advance forward, eager to support their brothers-in-arms, as Lord Calcifer himself stomps forward with his elites, as the Krieg sight them up before they can cross the train track and unload a torrent of las rounds straight into them, gunning down a single one of the heavily armored warriors. Traitor Tank then rumbles forward and unleashes a round straight at the administration building, blasting several Krieg from the top floor as it does so, and it opens up a torrent of its machine guns, gunning down another one of the brave warriors inside.
Medic! I need a medic!
The Krieg mortar team in the rear lines looses 3 rounds at the enemy.
Rounds on target, sir!
Yet these do not strike true, and Lord Calcifer's men are unharmed from the barrage. Another squad of the Extinction Angels open fire at the Krieg in one of the forward rail depots, gunning down many of their men.
Blasted heretics! Keep your heads down, boys! Ah!
Yet these troops are undeterred and immediately return fire, killing one of the foul traitors in response.
Now you're taking fire! Beat down! Ah!
Meanwhile, at the administration building, the cultists there charge headlong into the Krieg forces, engaging them in a bitter round of melee combat. As they scramble across the shell-shattered ruins of the once proud administration building, they're able to cut down many of the Krieg forces immediately. Yet, as these brave warriors swing back, they are only able to slay one of the cultists.
Watch out! Keep me covered! Look out behind you! Foul heretic! Back! Back, I say!
Yet, under the stalwart command of the Commissar, the Krieg forces hold the line, and the cultists are forced back. Up on the small trench network, the Krieg snipers take careful aim at Lord Calcifer's men, gunning down 2 of his prized veterans. This provides enough cover for the Krieg battle tank to rumble forward as it takes aim at Lord Calcifer's men and looses a high-impact shell which blasts apart more of his valiant warriors. They then follow up a torrent of their laser machine guns, gunning down another one of the foul heretics. Yet Lord Calcifer's men are undeterred, and this brings turns 1 to a close. As the rebels and heretical forces continue to press their advance against this stalwart Krieg position, Battlefield Commissar reminds his men not to take a single step back. At the beginning of turn 2, the Extinction Angels leave the safety of the ruins and charge forward into the Krieg at the forward depot. In the crush of melee, they eviscerate their enemy in a fountain of gore and dismembered body parts, successfully taking the ground.
Destroy! Kill them all.
The Krieg mortar team then sight up the enemy and loose 3 more rounds over the battlefield, with one striking true, blasting many of the cultists to pieces.
Oh, that one's getting brains a bit.
Overcome by the rain of fire, the cultists become shaken. The demonic entity lets out a vicious battle screech as he orders his men to charge forward into the Krieg units with the battle banner. In the crush of melee as the two sides meet, 9 of the Krieg troopers are cut down immediately, and with the banner bearer fighting back, the sharpened polearm glancing harmlessly off the thick ceramite power armor. He then fails his morale test, and he is cut in twain by an advancing heretical trooper. Advancing over the rail tracks, the Krieg battle tank then rumbles forward and levels its main battle cannon at the advancing Extinction Angels, with the main round smashing into their forward ranks. It then opens up with its heavy machine gun, which manages to pepper amongst the heretical forces, slaying only a single trooper. Seeing the side of the tank exposed, Lord Calcifer leads his men on a desperate charge straight into the side of it, managing to inflict many wounds upon the great vehicle, yet the crew inside are undeterred and it holds its ground. 3 troopers in the crater level their las guns at the advancing Extinction Angel squad, downing several of the troopers as they advance through the first depot. A heretical tank then rumbles forward and returns fire at these troopers, blasting asunder 6 of the stalwart defenders.
How'd you like that, Imperial scum? Die!
The Krieg troopers to their left then open fire at the rebels before they can charge across the rail tracks, gunning down many more, yet these forces are undeterred and hold their position. This inspires the cultists to rally themselves as the Krieg snipers continue to take pot shots at Lord Calcifer, managing to injure the mighty warlord. The elite rebel forces then manage to advance over the barricade, taking up keen position for future assaults, as the commissar within the main administration building orders his men to open fire. Yet their depleted numbers are no match for the powerful ceramite power armor, and they fail to kill a single one of the invaders. With the final 2 enemy forces advancing across the main train line, this brings turn 2 to a close. With the Krieg's lines being slowly chipped away by the unrelenting waves of the Havoc forces as well as their rebel allies, the Krieg could only do what they could to hold the line, as they receive a radio message from High Command telling them that the Gagorie Offensive will begin in mere hours. With an unquenchable thirst of blood, the demonic entity leads his close combat troops straight into the Krieg squad with a commissar in the administration ruins. As these 2 brave lines of warriors met in the bitter phalanx of close combat, the Chaos forces stormed through the building with ease, slaughtering all in their path.
We can't hold them much longer! Fall back! Oh!
The Krieg mortar team continue to rain down shells on the approaching rebel forces, managing to land a successful hit, blasting apart several of the elite rebel troopers. The heretical battle tank then returns fire at the Krieg forces, sending another shell into the crater, blasting apart one of the Krieg troopers and forcing the rest to become shaken. The rebel elites then advance across the train tracks and open fire with a torrent of their heavy stub guns and crude laser rounds straight into the heart of these troopers, annihilating the last of the squad in the crater. The Krieg forces on the left-hand flank then continue to pour their shots into the approaching rebel troopers, slaughtering all but one of their enemy. These troopers then become shaken. With the way now clear, the cultists then charge fanatically into the Krieg troopers, meeting them in close combat and gutting 3 of the brave warriors. Caught off balance, Krieg fight back, yet they are unable to inflict a single hit and are forced to fall back in good order.
Rally to me, men! Fall back! Come on, reform the line!
The Krieg snipers continue to pour rounds into the approaching rebels, gunning down 3 of the rebel elites.
Target sighted. Loose rounds. Good hit. We scrapped another one.
Lord Calcifer then leads his last surviving warrior on a desperate charge into the side of the battle tank, inflicting again another heavy hit. Yet the crew inside are undeterred and they forcing back the hated enemy.
I shall be your doom.
The lone rebel warrior then takes the opportunity to rally himself as the Krieg battle tank sights up the hated close combat squad before them and looses another round, but this one smashes harmlessly into a trench network beside it. It then opens fire with a gout of its heavy machine guns, which manage to cut down 2 of the foul enemies, bringing the turn to an end.
This is Lord General Gagorie. Men, I order you to hold your ground no matter the cost. The offensive is beginning soon. We just need more time.
With the order to hold their positions given, final turn open with the Krieg mortar team loosing 3 more rounds, which only manages to kill a single one of the Extinction Angel squad. The rebel elites then storm forward and open fire with their heavy stubbers, cutting down 2 of the Krieg troopers. These shaken warriors then rally themselves as the heretical tank opens fire again, loosing a battle cannon round straight into the Krieg snipers, annihilating all of them in a single hit. The traitor forces then sprint towards their Dark Master as the Krieg battle tank pivots on the spot and lowers its main battle gun at the approaching heretical forces. The tank round whizzes forward and smashes into the Extinction Angels in the depot.
Clean hit.
And they follow up with a heavy machine gun round which cuts down the last one of Lord Calcifer's bodyguard. The demonic entity leaps forward and beckons his men ever forward into the lust of battle as they smash into the side of the tank, dealing a significant amount of damage. So the Hellspawn itself swoops in and delivers a coup de grace to the vehicle, bringing it down to mere 4 wounds. With the crew and ship side being overwhelmed, they failed a morale test, as one of the Chaos Troopers stormed to top, ripping the tank turret open and leaping side of his heavy chainsaw. He annihilates the crew and detonates the vehicle ease. The traitors then continue to pour rounds into the Krieg troopers, killing their sergeant and forcing the men to become shaken yet again. And as the battle begins to draw to a close, the Chaos forces storm towards their objective, which is the other side of the rail yard. With the battle now at its bloody end, the Krieg forces have been all but annihilated. Yet, with them being able to hold back the heretics this long, despite their position falling to the enemy, the Gagorie Offensive has been given the all clear, and their valiant sacrifice would be remembered in the archives of war evermore. All across the front line, a massive Krieg assault sprang forward, led by the Lord Commander Gagorie, as he ordered the Air Force, the artillery, and the tank battalion to smash forward to drive the enemy back. It was Habitation Block 1 to the far left flank of the battle space, and it would be here that a hopeful breakthrough would force the entire rebel line to collapse, with Commander Gagorie himself on the front lines ready to lead his soldiers forward in this titanic clash with well over 10,000 points on the tabletop. Join us next week as the Krieg begin the battle for Hab Block 1.